What the fuck? Yeah, dude.
The Star.
Yeah, y'all already know. Seven the pan. That dude Biz on the beat. Yeah. We live in entertainment. Sound change. Crown the kings, homie. This is where it get ill. About to have the tip off live as a tip drill. From the court to the diamond, to the track, to the big skin flying around the field. Starting five forever, keeping it real. If it matters in the world of sports, jeans and long sleeves, they taking no shorts. So hot to death, oh yes. These are the sports podcasts live as a pro's corpse. Biz market wave, the starting five goes off. No matter who you cheer for, emotions out the window. They analyzing with clear thoughts. They take it way deeper than the boys ever. No longer got any use for the 4 letters. The latest news, score stats and the view from the sideline. Ain't no guideline, it's just the truth. Yeah, no need to dig for a parting line. It's always in season. The people starting five. We going in on 3. Run the baseline, starting 5. Get it. We got what you need. If the sports news you see, we don't waste time. We talking cause we live it. We got what you need. We going in on 3. Run the baseline, starting 5. Get it. We got what you need.
Fuck this intro this week. No fuck. Not fuck this intro to our homie Seven the Panther. We thank him always for that intro. It's just this shit was playing wonky as fuck as I broadcasted over the phone.
It sounded good here.
Everybody.
Sounded good, bro.
Well, yeah. If you would have heard how the skibbity hip hop was playing on my end, it was fucking horrendous. So I'm sorry, y'all. Anybody who's in the podcast, you're gonna hear this part, but I'm gonna edit it so where the music sounds proper. But for everybody on YouTube and Twitch, my bad, son. It's me, the man, that DJ named H5. Your mom's favorite fat guy, tired as fuck, just like the fat guy. It's not from food. Holy crap. Passing it to the man next to me as I, look.
What's good,
younger.
y'all? What's good? It's a pleasure to be back with y'all on a Sunday. I ain't been on a Sunday in a minute on this rainy, gloomy fall Sunday. Just want to, wish well to the folks down in Florida who've been, and the other states been impacted by Hurricane Ian. My cousins and my aunt, my godparents were adversely affected. So just giving them a quick shout out. I'm glad they're safe, but they took some damage. Just want to wish everybody well. But pleasure being here with you gentlemen, chopping it up. Got a little spirit to sip on. Let's get into it.
No doubt. Good to see you on a Sunday, brother JG.
Thank you.
Pleasure having you as always. You have been quite busy with the weekend, so glad you can finally make it out today. It's not that bad on my side of town, as you can see. A little windy, a little nippy out, but as far as that's concerned, I'm good. My G-Man 2 touchdowns on the Chicago Bears right now, rocking an old school uni, so I'm quite happy. For right now, who knows how that game could go? The Giants known to give away.
You already know, bro.
I don't want to speak too soon, but I'm gonna celebrate right now. I'm gonna celebrate the present. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to my man, looking like he's swinging a 40-ounce of water over there. Big O, what's good, my brother?
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? I'm just trying to rehydrate myself. I think I might have overdid it with the libation this weekend.
There's no such thing, brother. There's no such thing.
Yeah. Tell that to my trainer, boy. I did have to catch a little bit of that Giants game, man. It's boy, the Bears are making the Giants really look good right now. I mean, it's just a bad team.
Really good. They're taking the shit out of them over there.
Daniel Jones just skipped into the end zone
on the same exact play twice. They scored on the same exact play twice. Oh,
that's crazy.
Ridiculous.
Because that's one of only 3 plays we got. Let's be real. Giants got 3 plays that they can run, and that's it, bro. Off tackle, Saquon, up the middle, Saquon, Daniel Jones keeper. That's all we got.
We're gonna run that shit till the wheels fall off.
Don't let the cat out of the bag, man. You know what I know.
I wasn't watching y'all Giants. I turned on the Jets. And as I sent y'all in the group chat, like, yo, the Jets just ain't Pittsburgh with the Philly special. No bullshit. They did the end around, brought it back. Berrios tossed to a wide open, I forgot their quarterback's name, but
Zach Wilson?
Threw it to a wide open Zach Wilson for a fucking touchdown in week 4 game.
That's in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh was fucking like mortuary silent. Yo, funeral procession silent.
That's in Pittsburgh.
Can anybody tell me the score of my Eagles game, because I don't have it up now, and the only thing I saw was a pick 6 from a tip pass.
I think they're down 21, Dan. I'm not sure.
My lord.
I'm fucking with you. I don't know.
Well, I know because I keep getting all the fantasy pop-ups. Devontae's in the red zone. Devontae's in the red zone. So if somebody can help me out and let me know the score.
They're playing the Raiders today?
No, we're playing the Jaguars.
It's 14-14.
Okay, we tied it up. All right, good.
Yeah.
We ain't out here. We ain't out here trying to look. We ain't out here trying to look that embarrassing.
Y'all should smoke the Jags, though.
You would think, but this
Jaguar team is different. Yeah, the Jags.
Yeah.
I told everybody, man, that coach can coach, man. He's just around in Philly. He can coach.
Was that Peterson?
Yeah, he can coach, man. He just, it just got stale in Philly. That's all.
Wait, are they in Philly today?
Mm-hmm.
Is Philly playing at home?
Yeah. Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, they're Lincoln Financial.
Ooh, Jacksonville making it spicy at home in Philly.
Yo, man, after that the first touchdown on San Diego, nothing should be surprising with Jacksonville at this point.
Indeed, but they were down their quarterback too, so that's why I don't give them a full nod. But
a win is a win.
You play who you play.
Whatever.
You play who you play.
That's pretty much it. But
Lord,
how's everybody week's been before we start roasting these dumbass red states? How's everybody week's been?
Can't complain.
Week's been phenomenal. It's the first weekend I've stayed home in like 3 months, and it's been amazing. I feel great.
I'm hoping to do
the first Sunday.
Yeah,
the first Sunday in 2 weeks. Fun has been for me going to work 6 days a week. This past week was literally 13, 14 days in a row.
Damn.
Yeah,
something like that. And it ain't even snowing.
Wow.
We was just talking about me and the May about the work schedule. And for me it was 6 straight 6-day weeks. And then them days I had off, I always had some activity go. Was it golf or film festival or something like that? So it was good to just be home.
Or the Giants game.
Or the Giants game, yeah. Yeah. But that was good. That's the first Giants game I went to in 4 years, home game that they won. So I was happy about that.
Wow.
Yeah, I know about that pain.
Like, man, to spend your whole fucking Sunday up there just to watch these motherfuckers lose.
I was saying,
and the game be over. The game be over by the second quarter.
That's those pet Sunday days.
Do you know what it's like to spend your whole paycheck to go to a game to watch your team lose? Because that's what you're paying for these damn tickets nowadays.
Luckily, I'm usually a guest of some people who got season PSLs.
Yeah.
So whenever their moms don't want to go, I tag along. But they do the whole thing. They tailgate.
They tailgate.
So 8:30 in the morning, we there. Popping beers and whatever, man, and grilling. It's a long ass day, man.
That's a work day, bro. That's a work day.
Literally, hanging out and getting fat before the pregame.
For real.
Before the game starts. That's all.
By the time the game start, I'm ready to take a nap. I said, y'all go in. I chill in the car and listen to the game.
But we was talking about video game shit briefly before, and I'm not gonna expose what Jamal said, but I thought I had mentioned on here how I was able to obtain my PS5.
You did.
See, I must have been going.
Jamal wasn't here, but I knew I did. I knew I did.
Yeah, you did.
But Jamal wasn't here. So
I made an executive decision. You made an executive decision that day.
Oh no, it was an executive command. And so I was going to it. This happened to have been a week that I actually had money. Let me just say it like that. And I was going to the MCU, was going to the bank to take out the money for the rent. The bank was closed, so I just go get a money order from them, check cash and whatever. Something just said, yo, GameStop is 2 storefronts down. So I said, yo, let me go check and see. And I went in there specifically just to ask about release dates. Do they have any release dates or any drop dates? Because I was still like, I had the GameStop Pro membership just to try to get a PS5. Because have been able to buy online when they were releasing, they had quote unquote a certain number for Pro customers. So I literally paid, I forgot how much it was for the year membership just to buy a system. But I don't know. Let's keep moving on. So I walk in and this lady's typing up something, and I was just like, excuse me, I don't mean to bother you like this, but I just want to know if you have any info on release date for the PS5. She goes, well, I actually have one right here in the back. I was like, give it to me. Literally, that was it. I said, give it to me. Okay. I said, give it to me. She was like, really? I said, give it to me, please. Yeah. She said, I didn't even tell you how much it is. I said, miss, I don't care right now. Give it to me. I was like, you know what? I will entertain you. How much is it?
$1,200. No.
No. It actually came up to $860 something with tax. Damn. I was like, give it to me. I was like, give it to me. I was like, miss, you don't understand. I've been digging for way too long. I have the money right this second. Give it to me. I was like, give it to me. But the package for the $800 was worth it because the system is the price that it is. It came with a second controller. It came with a control.
You got a bundle.
Charging dock.
You got a little bundle.
It came with a controller charging dock. It came with 3 games. Horizon Zero West, which was the download code in the box. And then it gave me, I think, Modern Warfare 3 and some other shit. 2 games I don't even play. I'm going to just keep it real. Because I get motion sickness from anything first person, especially that's open world. I get motion sickness.
Wow.
So I downloaded Rocket League for free. And after a little while playing with the kids, because my kids like playing Rocket League, they like playing Street Fighter 5. Rocket League had me like ready to throw, almost close to throwing up.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, something about the movements. But my Madden is out. Street Fighter doesn't get me sick. One game I keep forgetting about that. I gotta go back and get Tekken. One of the Tekkens, because we used to rock that shit heavy back in the day playing Tekken. And I just fell off on that shit. It's been all Street Fighter all the time. But we used to play the hard body, we used to play Tekken. But we used to play all them shits. Tekken, Battle Area, Toshiden, fucking
Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur, Killer Instinct.
Ooh.
There was another game. I'd have to look it up. I don't know if it was called World Warriors or World something, where it had it was a fighting game, but it had an M. Bison-like character in the game.
Primal Rage?
No, Primal Rage was the dinosaurs. It's another thing. I'll find it. I'll send it to y'all in the group chat. But shit, I think of Killer Instinct, Time Killers. Have y'all ever played Time Killers?
Mm-mm.
That
No,
was a
no.
game. That was a game where I got embarrassed in front of a girl in high school that I went to high school with at a bowling alley because I was playing. All right, Time Killers was a game that you used to be able to chop off limbs in the game and pretty much disabling. So like there was this one dude that I used to use. I don't remember if I think his name might have been Rancid or whatever, but he had two chainsaws for hands. And I chopped this person's arms off and legs off. And this day in that arcade, I got beat by a guy who had no arms, no legs. It was just
You
his head
got
in the
beat by a
torso.
quadriplegic, Dan?
And I fucking lost. I fucking lost. I
What
didn't
was he, a
get beat
wizard?
by, like, no, the game character was I made a quadriplegic and they beat me with headbutts. Not the person I played.
No. That would have been even more
Yeah.
embarrassing.
That would have been, Mom, you know what, Mom? Because this is when my mother was in a bowling league. I was like, you know what?
Never
I'm
coming
walking
back
home
out.
from here. Like, I'm walking home from here. Like, but I'm
Shit.
walking home from
King
here.
of
And this is
Fighters?
when I was living.
Was it King of
Huh?
Fighters?
No. King of Fighters was another shit, though. But the worst fighting game to me, I still hate to this day.
It's Virtual
Fight.
Fighters.
Virtual Fighter.
Yeah,
hands
Virtual
down.
Fighter was
Yeah.
nobody played that.
My brother
Yeah.
fucking loved it because it was the one fighting game he could beat me in.
Well, that's why he loved it.
That's why he loved it.
But what was y'all like, number one favorite? Let's just go there real quick because I said Street Fighter is my heart. From Street Fighter 2 on, like I could probably take you exactly to the points where I've played certain different cabinets here and there. Like I remember the first place I seen the cheese version where you had Ryu that had the double fireball. No, it had the one fireball, but you was able to jump through the screen and it came back around and you was able to make a wall of fireballs.
Mhm.
I can bring you back to the place where I first seen somebody do the handcuff glitch.
Mm-hmm.
I could take you back to a place where the store used to be, where I heard somebody said, "Oh, you using Mr. Biston?" Talking about M. Bison.
Bison.
He called him Mr. Biston. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? But like, yo, I have too many memories connected to that shit. That's why it's my number one. What's y'all number one?
Oh man, yo,
My
go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
DJ.
I'm taking it way back. Bad Dudes.
Bad Dudes.
For
Bad Dudes was a
Nintendo.
beat 'em up.
Yeah, I loved beating motherfuckers up on that shit.
Okay.
That was like Final Fight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Final Fight was that good shit too. But I said fighting game.
fighting games. Can we include boxing in that? Or we just dismember it? Like the first Mortal Kombat. I love the first Mortal Kombat.
I got a story for that too.
The first Mortal Kombat I liked. I liked
But I know you were saying boxing games. I mean, we could technically say they were fighting games, and everybody liked, what was it? The joint
Fight Night.
Sports,
Fight
right?
Night.
Yeah,
Fight Night, bro. That was my shit.
I'm still waiting on that new boxing game, man. I think I'm gonna send y'all a link to it. That shit looks crazy.
Yeah, it looks crazy.
They're supposed to bring Fight Night back.
Yeah, because of that. Yeah, we'll see. I'll get them both. But my favorite joint was probably Street Fighter 2 and then Mortal Kombat. But the first Mortal Kombat for PS2, when you were able to change your styles right in the middle of a fight, that one was dope. Yeah, but that and Street Fighter 2 really really stuck with me. And then probably Bushido Blade, man. Oh no, Samurai Showdown.
Samurai Showdown.
Yeah.
Samurai Showdown was
Samurai Showdown is my shit.
Mm-hmm.
Peace to Wyatt in the comments. I'm actually, Wyatt, check your IG. I'm gonna send you the link now. You could join us. I'm gonna lose y'all off camera for a second. But Wyatt, check your IG. I'm gonna send you the link if you want to join us.
I don't know if you have your camera on or not, Dan, because you're a black screen now. So
yeah, because I've been bouncing around here and there.
Okay.
So my camera's gonna dip out now, but it's on you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, fighting games was never something I was good at. So when I found one that I was halfway decent at, I stuck with it. And that was Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur I was halfway decent in. But
who you, the wizard dude with the staff?
I was the cheesy I was Killick. I was dude with the staff, pause. And and didn't they have a chick with the with the chain?
Yeah.
With the blade at the end of it? Yeah. Her too. So I was the two cheesy people. But other than that, man, Marvel vs. Capcom, I was always.
I was about to just say that. Yeah. Marvel vs. Capcom was a favorite of mine too.
Yeah,
because that changed the game a little bit when you could throw the Marvel figures in there. That was dope.
Yeah, because it was a 3-on-3 that you could kind of like tag in mid fight, make mad different combo styles with it. You know, I'm sure everybody wanted to when it came. Everybody wanted to try Hulk and or Wolverine. You know, Berserker Barrage. But my Mortal Kombat story. I know I've told this story on the pod before. The first time I beat Mortal Kombat in the arcade, it was Starbase Comics of Poetry Ave, which was not that far away from where I live. It's not that far away from the laundromat that I always go to that I'll tell you about. But I was down there. I was by myself. I rode my bike there. I beat that bitch on 50 cents with Sub-Zero.
Wow.
It was the highest moment of my life at that point in time. Right? Like, yes, I'm telling everybody, I just beat it with 50 cents. Oh, congrats, yeah. I walk outside, my motherfucking bicycle was gone.
Oh.
I don't mean to laugh, but damn.
Wow.
You won and you lost at the same time and shit.
Dude, like I said, how to turn into a pile of shit in fucking minutes.
0.8 seconds.
I'm pissed off. I'm walking back up the block. I'm walking home. You know, the walk just felt longer.
It was probably somebody that was watching you beat the game, bro.
Yeah, he beat it all right.
So, and this was. Oh no, this is a different bike. No, this is the same bike. Because I had two different bike stolen stories. But this one was I was the only person that had like the really fat framed mountain bike when they came out. Only person in the neighborhood that had this. And I knew this for a fact. Because nobody had my color bike or the frame bike. So this was months later. Right. Shout out to my brother Chris, who's somebody my mom babysat since 6 months old. We was up at the Chinese restaurant. I think we was getting some egg rolls or some shit like that, whatever. And a crew of Mexicans rolled in and put the bike in the corner of the store. Like they were sitting at the table waiting for food. They ordered food, waiting for food. And I'm like, Chris, look at that shit. Because I noticed the frame.
Wow.
And I noticed, this is a different story, my bad. The bike that was stolen from Starbase Comics, what happened was I went home, I went into the basement, or I went to my room, I took out my baseball bat, because this is when I was still playing Little League Baseball. I took out my baseball bat, my father and his friend, rest in peace, Mr. Thomas, was standing outside. They was like, what the fuck are you about to go do? I'm like, somebody stole my bike. I'm going to look for it. So I walked my neighborhood with a baseball bat looking for my bike. I walked around one block, and I was like, fuck this shit. I went back home.
Motivation died. Motivation died right there.
I ain't gonna hold you. Dad, I ain't gonna hold you, yo. You tell a hell of a story, that build up was crazy. So I'm like,
No,
okay, this is I'm just thinking about little black kid walking around the school walking around town with a baseball bat.
Ready to debo somebody.
Yeah, I messed up and put the two stories together because the Chinese restaurant one was my bike was stolen out of my backyard because my goofy ass didn't listen to my father, and I only chained the bike front tire to the fence. So I go out to the back one day and I just see the front tire there. So this one was fast forward. This one was fast forward to months later. Me and Chris is in the Chinese restaurant, and I'm looking at the frame like, yo, this is the bike that the fat frame John, and this is the one that's like, yo, I see the frame. The front tire is different. The handlebars were my handlebars because I had the only person out that had the bull bars with the grips up top. And then there was a little shimmer, glimmer of hope. Right down where the pedal gear thing is, the pedal spot is, where that round hub.
The sprocket?
Not just the sprocket for the gears, but the round part where the pedals go through.
Oh, okay.
Let me bring him in. Okay. We finally got this dude on who's been asking to come through for a minute. New friend and fan of the show, Wyatt. What's good with you, man?
What's good, guys? How's it going?
What's up, Wyatt?
What's up, man?
What's going on?
As we're breaking up, I'm gonna just finish this story, and I gotta ask you, how did you find us? And then we'll get to that in a second. So, I was looking at the pedal part, right? Somebody painted the bike over all in black, right? But there was one spot where the paint was peeled, and I seen the purple. I was like, yo, Chris, that's my bike. I was like, yo, I was getting mad hype in it. Like, yo, fuck, I'm taking this fucking bike back. I'm taking this bike. And so then I get up right when our food comes. Like, when our food comes, I'm taking this bike back. And this is when, like, I'm like 14, maybe 15, but I'm also 5'10", close to 200 pounds probably. I was always kind of the taller one. Now at 6 feet, I feel shorter than every motherfucker around me. You know what I'm saying? At 6 feet tall, I feel short as fuck. But I'm
Thanks,
not
Dan.
short.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Wait, you're not taller than me, O?
Nah, man, I'm 5'9".
Oh, why?
Oh, welcome to the club, O.
I'm saying we're calling you Big O, and when you stand up, you look taller than me, but it's only on camera.
I'm 5'9" around. That's the whole thing.
Oh shit. So I'm like, yo, so we get our food, and I'm like, yo, whose fucking bike is this? And they, obviously language barrier. I'm like, I didn't care. Whose fucking bike is this? And they just kept looking at me. I was like, yo, that's my bike. None of y'all ever had this around here. I'm taking my fucking bike back. And they just looked at me with this glassy-eyed look, like they knew they were wrong. And I took the bike back. I told Chris to hop on. He sat on the seat. I stood up and rode that bitch home like another victory lap. Like, I did that shit.
You strong-armed him. Nice.
Yeah, no arming intent. Yo, it was literally like I robbed them back without no guns, without no weapons. And I was riding that bike proud as fuck in all black. I didn't care. I didn't.
Nobody yelled out, "Stall him out, Craig."
Nah, there was no fight. There was no fight or nothing. So, but yeah, man, forget that. New guest and good friend to the show now. How did you find us? Why? Because again, I don't think we were new. We've been on YouTube for a minute, but it was again somebody who I don't know if you were in the groups with us, whatever the case may be. But it was just you were interacting, and as we always do, we'll welcome anybody on the show. The way we're freestyling today, man, was no brainer to come through. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, how did you find us?
Well, first off, I want to start off by saying, I really appreciate you guys having me on here in the first place. I know you and I messaged a bit, and It was totally dope for you guys to get me on here, man. So like, I really appreciate that. I'm a big fan. I watch you guys every week. It was actually kind of it's been a few months now I've been watching you guys. It was the beginning, like right after the NBA season finished. I was trying to find like podcasts and live streams about the like off-season news and stuff. And I came across you guys streaming one Sunday, and I just watched the whole thing. And I was like, wow, these guys are awesome. These guys are entertaining and knowledgeable, and like they got to know they're actually like kind of like come off as regular guys, but you come off as regular guys that know your shit too. So it was like it was you guys are like relatable, if that makes sense, you know.
Thank you.
And then I actually went through like on my social medias, and it turned out I've been following like the Facebook, the TikTok, and the Instagram for like a while now, since the beginning. I'd been on with you guys. I just hadn't been on like the YouTube channel yet. So just kind of got into watching, and then you and I talked, and I was like, man, I would love to come on and talk sports with you guys sometime. And you're like, hey man, let's just get it done. And schedule conflicts and everything else kind of kept messing things up. But hey, I'm here and glad to be part of it.
Shout out to you, White.
What's up? Much appreciated.
Yeah, word. And
That's
thank you
what's
for
up,
the
yeah.
compliment.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, for real, man. And like, obviously, as you know from listening to us, we welcome anybody and everybody, even if you got differences of opinions. Like, come through, chop it up with us, because I hate saying that we could agree to disagree. No, we disagree, but we could also agree. But we're also adult enough that it stays right there. You know what I'm saying? If we were to ever disagree on some shit, like it'll stay right there, and then we can go have a drink somewhere. Whatever, leave that shit where it was. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I operate. I think that's kind of how most of us here on the show. And yeah, man. Again, thanks for even finding us. Thanks for sticking with us. And as always, you're more than welcome to stay with us at any time. Anytime you want to come kick it with us, hit me back up. And you know, if we got the topic list ahead of time, which this week we didn't, because we made up for last Sunday on Wednesday. So this Sunday was just like, yo, it's getting close to 1 o'clock. Yo, we working today? And everybody was like, yeah. Everybody just like, yeah, we chopped in. It was just like, fuck it. But the number one thing we stuck on, which we're going to save for a little bit later, is, as I called this episode, 6 States Are Stupid, is because there's 6 red states out there who decided that they wanted to try to sue President Biden because of the student loan forgiveness agenda. And yeah, fuck y'all, because we'll get there in a minute. TJ, you mentioned it was NBA preseason. Have at it.
Yes. The NBA preseason kicks off this week, and our beloved Knicks have their first preseason game on Tuesday, 7 p.m. I know you rocking a Lakers shirt, bro. I see it. Wear it proudly. Y'all had just as good a season as the Knicks last year, and I'm so happy for that.
Yes.
This jersey's worth a fortune, I hope you know, man. This is a Lonzo Ball rookie jersey, all right? Upwards of 6 figures, okay?
Never lost.
Oh, man, we drafted him. My buddy got me this for Christmas. He's like, dude, this is the next big thing for your team. I was like, I know. I'm rocking. 2 years later, we sent him to Nolans. There you go. Have fun.
Wait a minute. All 3 brothers are supposed to be playing. The 2 brothers have still got a shot at playing in LA. So then the trifecta will be complete. Maybe the next 20 years.
Well, I don't, because did anyone hear, like, so I heard LiAngelo got signed to Charlotte, but they're saying, like, it's not even, like, a guaranteed deal because they're still above their roster limit.
I think he's G League.
I thought that happened like a season or 2 ago where he was signed but never brought up, like TJ just said, G League.
Yeah, because they got him. They got him signed. They got 18 guys on the roster. So after one regular season starts, they got to cut to 15. So he's not even like guaranteed a spot right now, but he's like signed for preseason, I guess. So
yeah, he got a 1 year, like a 1 year, $1 million deal. I don't know if that guarantees that he's on the 15. But I know that I think they did sign him to at least 1 year.
Okay.
He has about as good a shot as Percy Miller. Okay.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
That was good.
Make him say, oh.
Damn.
Oh,
Cold-blooded.
okay.
Why? Let me ask you this.
Don't look
Since
for
you're
him on
avid,
2K, man.
since you're an avid Lakers fan, what is the Westbrook situation looking like for you guys right now? Because it's not working.
No, it's not. And to be fair, like I was so confused this offseason with what LA was doing. Like, we have Westbrook and they're trying to get a good trade out of him, which I understood, like, holding out. But, like, man, I would have put every pick in the book to get him gone. You know what I mean? Like, I would have.
They can still do it. Indiana's right there. Indiana's waiting for you to give up 2 first-round draft picks.
Hold
on a second, though. Didn't Russell Westbrook just get there in, like, the halfway point of last season?
No, he was at the beginning of the season.
Him and LeBron worked out in the offseason together and everything before they got. Yeah. He played a full year there.
Okay. I was wrong there. My bad. So, all right. Yeah, y'all know how I feel about the way these things go with these teams. You need time to let it marinate. Gotta let it marinate. And I hope for his sake, this former MVP loses this lack of, like the lack of scrutiny comes in this season, because now it's year 2. And like I said, they gotta let the flavors get paused, let the flavors get in, and let the marriage like start to marinate a little bit more, because everybody looks for instant success when it comes to big name. Y'all should be able to ball out, and that's what it is. And we all know, especially with your team, Anthony Davis can't play fucking at least 70 games a season, it seems like. But nobody complained about that. Nobody. I mean, people complain about the injuries, but y'all got the bubble, the championship.
I mean, Anthony Davis can play if he's in a bubble. I mean, as long as he's there. He can't go nowhere and get hurt. You know what I'm saying?
The bars, that double entendre spitting that was, he could play in the bubble, but he also needs to play in the bubble. That was bars right there. That dude, he stays get hurt. So that was bars right there. So, but yeah, no, I mean, hey, if okay, so we'll call him Bubble Boy now. If Bubble Boy, LeBron and Westbrook could just I guess gel up a little more going into this season. I think for your Lakers, to me, it's about the rest of the pieces.
No,
I think Westbrook is going to be all right.
He's too ball dominant, man. He has to have the ball at all times for it to work. And for that to happen, he needs to come off the bench. And he's not going to come off the bench.
But, TJ, okay, so I hear that, right? And I first, thinking of the chemistry of the team, I was thinking that, it's not going to work because Westbrook is ball dominant. But so was Kyrie Irving. And it works.
You can't compare the two, though.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving.
Well, you can't compare the two, because 1, flat Earth, 2, MVP.
Right.
That's right. Where the comparison stops. And then think about it too. It was the MVP season where he broke Oscar's what's name record?
Triple double
right?
record. Yes.
And his triple double record was with assists within that combination. So to say, yeah, he's ball dominant, and by way of, yeah, he may need to bring the ball down. But also, you know what? I get it now. The way with ball dominance that I would say you're thinking, and I'm assuming, is, yeah, he has to drive and kick out.
Right.
And you kind of don't do that, Wyatt, when you got a LeBron James.
Right. Well, and
also he can't hit the side of a barn from 16 feet out, bro.
No, he's not. He's definitely not, like, he shouldn't even be the third option on it, for shooting. I mean, he's good at driving. He's good at the mid-range a bit, but I was one of the few Lakers fans that wasn't even a total hater on Westbrook last season, because, I mean, last season was what it was for the Lakers, with injuries and, trying like Mayor was saying, they're trying to get everything to meld. But at the end of the day, at the end of the season, Westbrook still averaged 19.2 points a game and 10 assists per game. And I mean, there's a lot of guys in the league, even starters, that aren't putting up those kind of numbers, on other teams. So, I mean, at the end of the day, he still had good numbers. At the end of the day, he was still playing good.
So he's your version of Julius Randle, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, he's a smaller Julius Randle. Yeah.
I get it, because we got the same guy on our team.
Right. Like Julius Randle's still putting up good numbers. I mean, it's just
poor shooting percentage.
Right. And the thing is, if Westbrook was a 6-man, if he was coming off the bench, like let's say last season,
right,
nobody would have talked about trading him, because they would have been like, wow, this guy's phenomenal coming off the bench with the numbers he's putting up. But it was the fact that he was a starter and he was put in this whole like big three picture with Anthony Davis and LeBron, that if you're not producing onto LeBron's level or to where the level where, the Lakers are going to be at least championship contenders, he's looked at like he was a scrub. And Westbrook's no scrub. We know that. Like, we've seen that.
Right.
But
and
why?
You know what? It takes a player like that to he needs to kind of humble himself, i.e. like a Carmelo Anthony, where Carmelo's unfortunate humbling was he sat a year or two out of the league to then realize his value on a bench. And if Russ just understood his value and the coaching staff understood, that kind of spark coming off the bench would be unstoppable.
Yeah, he's going to cook anybody's bench. He's going to cook anybody coming off the bench. But that squad was poorly constructed from the beginning because it was a wheelchair squad. And LeBron took great offense to talking about, oh, we're the oldest team. You watch, we're going to come out here and dominate. And it was exactly what everybody thought. It was exactly what everybody thought. Half the team was watching all the young kids play, and they weren't ready for that. And that's what it was. It was a poorly constructed squad from the beginning. But, because we've seen the Lakers do this with the Carmelo, Rick Fox, Gary Payton squad. And we thought that should have been a walk in the park, and it wasn't.
Right. No, yeah, I totally agree, man. I was watching last offseason just like in a mass bit of confusion, seeing all the young, free agents that were available and watching the Lakers pick up, Trevor Ariza. Like, don't get me wrong, Carmelo was probably our most solid bench guy last year, but just watching all these veterans they were picking up going like, man, this sets us up for nothing. This set us up for failure. And then watching, the big dump that we dumped on New Orleans to be able to get Anthony Davis was already enough of a heartbreak. Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, 3 solid players right there. And then to turn around and give up Kuzma, Caldwell Pope, and can't even tell you all the names that were on the list. On top of the draft picks to bring in Russell Westbrook just to get like shit on the way we did. Oh man, especially when there was other teams throwing out better options. Like Chris Paul's time in Phoenix was kind of uncertain, and his time in Oklahoma City, he hadn't quite gone to Phoenix, was uncertain. Mike Conley. There was just all these other like free agent point guards that I thought like, man, we'll just pick them up and you don't have to give up nothing for them.
Yeah.
And yet
do you blame that on LeBron? Because he kind of constricted that team himself. It wasn't Pelinka. It was more LeBron than anything, though, I think.
As a Lakers fan, I'll say like LeBron has been a blessing and a curse to the Lakers. I think like a blessing in the sense like whether it was the bubble or not, those guys were still playing full games, still playing hard. He brought us a chip, and that's one thing. Like whether it was the bubble chip or regular chip, a chip's a chip. He brought it to us, and that's awesome. The problem was like, and I've never understood this. How do you win a chip with a team, and then the very next season you dump 12 of the players that were on that championship team? Like that's where they started to mess up. If they could have kept that core that won that bubble championship, maybe added a few guys, but kept like, Alex Caruso, Rajon Rondo.
That really hurt y'all.
JaVale
really hurt y'all.
Yeah. It just, and then Dwight left and played that year in Philadelphia and then came back this last year. And I mean, it was just bad all the way around. At the end of the day, like I do have a lot of say that like a blame for LeBron on his fault for his influence, but at the end of the day, Pelinka is the man that wears the pants, and he's got to put his foot down. You know what I'm saying? Like
facts.
Yep.
And that's why I can't ride with that. Like, oh, LeBron made this team. It would behoove any team to not talk to their superstar athlete, their top dog on their team, on who you think could match up well with you. but he's not the final decision maker. And people like to say what you said, TJ, and this ain't shots at you, but this
No, I
is
know.
shots at people like you, not like you. You forget what I'm saying. I'm digging at old people. But this
You trying to
is
say,
the
Dan?
people-
No.
But this is the people who try to be like, yo, like, no, LeBron, it's LeBron, it's LeBron, it's LeBron, it's LeBron. It's like the same way that like people fucking just talk quarterback. And if this is quarterback. Like, yo, no, you just know LeBron James over everybody else and anybody else on that team. So who's the easiest person to blame? Him.
Mm-hmm.
Him.
So where do you see them at, White? Are they a playing team? Or are they making the playoffs? The West is stacked, man.
They're a playing. I would see them as a playing team. I could see them making the play-in tournament and probably making the low end on playoffs, but I see a first round exit. Like pretty real. I mean, just to be realistically, as a lifelong Lakers fan, yeah, I see them getting into the actual playoffs, but I see them getting the first round bounce pretty quick. They're gonna get the AC seed. They're gonna match up with somebody like Phoenix or Denver probably right away, and there's no shot. I mean, there's just the talent that's there on those two teams. Where LeBron's frustration is going to be by that time, and if Westbrook's part of the squad, I'm sure he's not going to be overly thrilled come that time, dealing with the scrutiny from everyone trying to put it on the blame on him when it's not entirely on him by any means. And I think that falls to another issue with the whole LeBron situation. Is every year we hear it out of LeBron as he gets older. Every year he tells us he's going to be less and less ball dominant. He wants to be more of a point guard. He wants to be more of a facilitator. And then by the end of the season, he's MVP candidate because he's taking more shots and scoring more points than anybody on the team.
Because everybody else is on the bench with injuries, Wyatt.
I'm saying
he's got nobody else to go to. He's got nobody else, bro.
I'm not saying he doesn't have to do it. You know what I mean?
It's not by choice. You know what I'm saying? It's out of necessity.
If AD stay healthy, LeBron could be that point forward, but AD can't ever stay healthy.
That's the thing too. Everyone gets on LeBron. They say, LeBron, all he wants is superstars around him. Well, yeah, he's trying to get a little workload off the man. He's been the man for a while. I mean, between the only time he wasn't, having to force to be the man was when he spent his time in Miami. That was vacation for him, man.
Yeah. What's he right now?
He was still the man, and he was still the man there.
Yeah. He was the man. He was the man by choice in Miami, not by force, as he's been in Cleveland and LA, because they have anything around him.
But because they conceded to him also,
right?
Wade has made that known in every interview possible. If anybody brought that up, that he conceded his talents to a point, but the important part within it is, when called upon, he did what he was supposed to do. And that's the difference when all of these situations is, we're Knicks fans. Fuck Miami Heat. But that when you have a quote-unquote superstar set of teams, that's why the Bulls teams of the 90s worked the way they did. Because everybody played their role and played it to a T well enough to complete the mission.
Yep.
And that's what Miami did, regardless of Dwayne Wade or not. Because LeBron was gone. How well did Dwayne Wade do afterwards when he had to kick it back up and be the man? How well did Michael Jordan do without a Scottie Pippen leading into the 6 championships?
Right.
How well did he do after? Like these measurables are there where you as a player come through and you do what you're supposed to do. You're a professional athlete. No matter like that. That's why I say that shit when people talk about bench players and backups. And you're a professional athlete. You're getting paid to do a job. Do the fucking job. Do the job. It literally just is that simple. Of you get paid to play. You're supposed to be ready when you get in there. Now, shit happens all the time.
Hate to break it down to you, but Ray Allen ain't walking through that door, bro.
This is fact. He
is not walking through that door.
He done saved many a days. Little Jesus Shuttlesworth. You know what I'm saying? But why? Where are you from? Are you a LA in town Lakers fan, or you like the rest of the Lakers fans that are across the country?
Man, well, actually, I got kind of nervous earlier when you were talking about the red states because I'm probably in one of them because I didn't catch the news on that. But no, actually, I'm about as far away from an LA fan as you could be because I'm in a state where we don't even have pro sports. So I'm up north in Montana, man.
What?
Oh shit!
Oh wow.
You in the your fandom is valid because ain't no pro teams period there. Like
Yeah.
you know what's crazy?
Phil Jackson lives up in Montana, don't he?
Yes, sir. Phil Jackson lives, 4 hours away from me.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I automatically hate Montana now. Sorry. No offense.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy though? Like, you never even hear of like when expansions and shit like that. You never hear of like a Montana or South Dakota. You know, shit.
Nobody's
like,
going there, Dan. Nobody's going there.
I guess. Like, is there? All right, because we're not shitting on. We're all New Yorkers for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely don't. We're definitely not familiar with your state. Like, what is within your state that could be attractions that a pro team should maybe consider? Like, what would bring us besides, I would say, moose and bears and cold? Not the stereotype, but I'm stereotyping.
It's so accurate, too, man. That's like, I mean, we have 2 big college teams here, Montana and Montana State, and they're the Grizzlies and the Bobcats. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that tells you about everything. Actually, back sometime in the 80s, I'd have to look it up. Montana, our biggest city, which is Billings, which has, I mean, biggest city for Montana has about 250,000 people now. Back in the 80s, it was sitting at about 110,000 people. It was actually in consideration for an NBA expansion team, and the city council of Billings actually shut it down. And Billings is about 100 miles from where I live. They shut it down pretty much because they didn't want like the excess tourism, stuff like that, yada yada. Which, looking back now, is incredibly stupid. Yeah,
I mean, tourism.
That's crazy.
Tourism makes states. I mean, like, again. I'm in New York City. I'm on Staten Island now. You could say technically I'm one of the 5 boroughs, but the outskirts. And tourism is still one of the biggest things in New York City. Like, that's crazy to think about that. But
he said 100,000 he said 100,000 in the biggest city, and I was like, yeah. That's 42nd Street on like 2:00 on a Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? That's just that one block. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, like
that was the San Gennaro Street. That was the San Gennaro Festival last Saturday.
Just 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Montana didn't even break 1 million people for the whole state until 2010, bro.
Yeah,
what?
Yeah.
Doesn't even have 1 million people, man. Yeah.
Holy shit! I know where to relocate when I'm in trouble.
We're sitting at about 1.5 now, and like I said, 250,000 of them live in the city of Billings.
Wow!
So I gotta go. So now I gotta go here. Racially, culturally. I like to put it culturally because we are the human race, but we're made up of different cultures. So
right.
Culturally, what is Montana like?
Well, I mean,
that was a long pause.
Yeah,
we're here.
Like, it got hot here real quick.
I'm over here. Be as honest with us as possible because you already know we keep it real here. We keep it 100% real here. Be as honest.
So the school I went to, this is kind of an elongated answer, but just to give you guys a heads up, I graduated in a class of 6 kids. Oh, and wow. It's a massive building. It's a huge building, but it's literally K through 12 all in the same building from one end to the other is K to to the high school. You know, the elementary school, middle school, high school is all connected. And I went there kindergarten through the time I graduated. In the time that I was at school, we had two graduates at the time I went from K to 12 from that school that were African American or black in that entire time. And they were the only two kids to graduate from that school, and that school has been open since 1907.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was the 12 years you went there.
Yeah, that was one of them was in 2012, and the other was 2013. Then I graduated in 14. Yeah.
And both of them are in the NFL.
No, it was actually there's kind of a funny story to this, and this is not to be offensive at all. This is just hilarious. We had one of my basketball coaches. It was a really, really good basketball player, and he was really tall white guy. And we had this the kid that was a year ahead of me. His name was Joe. Awesome kid, still one of my best friends to this day. Played guitar in a band for me. That kid we were killer on the football field, man. I was his fullback. He was my running back. And we were just killers, man. And then it got into basketball, and like we played basketball together too. And that kid would admit he could not shoot a basketball to save his life, man. Like he could not dribble. He would get that shit stolen from him. If he shot, it was like a laser. He just and one day we're running shooting drills, and I overhear my coach look over and go, "Man, leave it to Rosebud to get the one black kid that can't play basketball."
You got Stanley from The Office.
He's like, this dude fast as hell on a football field. You get him gone and ain't no one catching him, but you put a basketball on his hand. You wouldn't believe that.
You know what? You guys could probably get a good NHL team there, though. I would think hockey is a bigger sport out of anything out there.
Yeah, we actually have a semi-pro hockey, and it garners quite a bit of a crowd just for being semi-pro. You know, all our semi-pro sports do really good around here. Like we've got semi-pro hockey, baseball, and then we've got an arena football team that's really good too from the state. And then like our college teams are big for like Montana right now. University of Montana, the Grizzlies, go Grizz. They're 5-0 right now in their conference, and like no one's talking about them because they're from Montana.
Right.
Oh wow,
that'll do it. That will do it. But yeah, that's interesting as fuck, man. Thanks for that, because like you reminded me of my boy. Shout out to my brother Leon, which I gotta hit up. He's in Florida. I gotta check to see if he got affected by the storm. But he was like he left Staten Island to go live with his aunt and uncle in Titusville, Pennsylvania, and he was one of two black people in his entire high school career also. But he was like, obviously, you know, black dude from family from Curacao, but he was like the superstar, like one of the most popular motherfuckers over there. You know, right. I'm not saying it's because of the melanin, but probably because of the melanin. But I digress. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, what is there like? All right, so like vacation wise,
they got state park. You got part of Yellowstone there, right?
Yellowstone, Glacier.
Yeah.
Yep.
Montana's a dope state if you want to go visit and just see some parts of the country that we're not used to and the type of topography that we don't get. Montana's the spot to go to, man.
You've been?
Without a doubt. It's on the bucket list. But my boy just came back from there. He was is it Bozeman? And
Bozeman, yeah.
Yeah. So my film partner, and he came back, and the pictures he took out there, he was like, bro, it's ridiculous. Like
you definitely
gorgeous out there.
If you ever come to Montana, you want to go to like the western side of the state for sure. Because like I live in the southeastern part, and like it's beautiful over here, but we don't have it's not like mountains and stuff. It's a lot more flat land. This is a lot more like farm and ranch country, stuff like that. You get the western side of the states where you get a lot more. You're like your mountains, your bears, elk, moose, like all. We call that the poster card side of the state. We're like the workhorse side of the state, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's interesting as hell, man. And especially after coming off of I was watching yesterday, like somebody who makes like short movies or short films on YouTube. I was watching one about Alaska, and he was trying to find the hood in Alaska, but he goes to this one area that they called that people were considering the hood. It was called Mountain View, and he was talking to a community of people where the whole community sticks up and rocks with each other. Like, yeah, there's things that happen, like there's shootings and stuff like that, but it was interesting to see it from Black people who were from Alaska. You know what I'm saying? And seeing another side of a place that I may never get to in life, that I would love to go see in life. Just like a Montana, I would want to go see and probably smell some of the freshest air possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to go see states like that. You know what I'm saying?
So why everybody knows everybody then, pretty much. If you're going through school and everybody goes to the same school like that, like you know them from like toddlers to they're adults almost, right?
Oh, for sure, man. Like I'm still living in the same town. I mean, I moved around a little bit, but I ended up coming back now to the same town where I went to school at and everything. And there's 70 people in this town, man. I kid you not. I drive 10 miles a day to get to. I work in a town that's about 2,000 people. I drive 10 miles there and 10 miles home every day. But like we just had a family moving across the street, and they're all from Georgia. And they're like, man, you guys don't got a cop shop here, nothing. They're like, you know, if there's an emergency, it's like, well, you know, you got the cops 10 miles away. But I told them, I was like, straight up, to be honest with you, the people in this town will handle the problem before the cops are going to make it here anyway. Like, that's just the way it is, man. Montana is the only state out of all 50 states, and this is no joke, this is a true fact, where there's more guns per square mile than people.
I believe that. I believe
that.
Yeah.
But I believe that because there's more of the wildlife and everything out there. You like protect yourself from the animals as much as the people out there, I think.
Dude, that's true, man. There's like been nights where like I have to come out of my yard and literally like scare off coyotes from coming into my yard to fuck with my dogs and stuff, you know?
Damn.
I woke up the other day, the new neighbors from Georgia, they're like, yeah, interesting morning. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I had my coffee. I stepped out on the porch, and he's like, I looked across the street, and between your house and the neighbor's house, he goes, there was a mountain lion walking the fence line. I'm like, typical Tuesday morning. Like, bring it up.
Damn.
Yeah, see, this is crazy hearing it like that, but from a state with more wilderness. Because like my brother just moved upstate New York about a year ago, but I was just up there a couple of weeks ago, and talking to his neighbor who was up there for almost a decade, who was a Brooklyn dude. But he was just like, yo, they were kind of saying the same sentiments, like not as far as the amount of guns, but because gun ownership is easier in upstate New York, that yo, if some shit comes in your yard or some person comes in your yard, it's literally like, yo, like you're going to deal with it before the cops do, and there's an understanding of just that. Like, dude said he went to Orlando for 2 weeks, and because he didn't have a front door key to his house because of when he bought the house and just legal shit for some reason, they legally owns the house, but for some reason lost the front door key that they gave him.
He should legally own the key there.
He said he lost the key, but left his fucking door unlocked for 2 weeks. Went to Orlando, and his house was perfectly fine. Like, that's like, being a city kid, it's unfathomable to me, but I get it. In like small town areas like that, like I get it, where you actually have neighbors that actually give a fuck about you.
Yeah, that's like if you let somebody borrow your truck, Wyatt, if they're like, oh, that's Wyatt's truck, and if they see me driving it, it must be stolen because nobody knows that I'm here driving Wyatt's truck to go to the store. So it's going to be a problem, most likely.
Dude, and it's funny little things like that. Like, yeah, you'll borrow a friend's vehicle, and then by the time you get the vehicle back to your friend, they're like, man, I got 6 phone calls from everyone in town was like, who's driving your car? Like, everyone knows everyone thing, man. It's like, Jesus, Murphy.
That's crazy.
Sorry for anybody watching had a little bit of a breakup of the signal, but it's all good, man. But yeah, let's get into this last topic of this shit, and let's just chop it up real quick. Now, I'm sorry if you lost me on camera, but y'all can still hear me. And this is because 6 states in the union decided to go after one President Joe Biden because of the student loan forgiveness plan. Now, what these idiots don't really realize is that the student loan forgiveness plan is only for $10,000 and up to $20,000 if you have a Pell Grant. And the 6 states that are involved in this lawsuit are, fortunately, you're not in one of them, Arkansas, South Carolina, Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, and Missouri.
Oh.
Yeah, well, first off, we could just talk. I mean, first off, with that right there alone, we could talk about the educational levels and where they rank in said states. Probably low as fuck, you know. But one of the reasons that when hearing about this on the news, reading up articles about this shit, they were making the complaint that these private loan companies that are involved within this, they were worried that these private companies were going to take a hit. And to me, I say fuck them, because we are one of the few countries in the entire world that does not offer free secondary education or free post high school education, which is, to me, it's still puzzling. We are one of the most richest countries in the world. I think I was looking it up early last week. We are, I think, possibly second in the world as far as population. But when it comes to intelligence level of this country amongst the world, we were like number 29 or 30 something in the world. And to me, it's like when you stack up shit like that and understand things like that, you understand the stupidity of people who want to fight against people coming up just to have an education. Like I don't believe that you should have to be in hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt just to get a piece of paper in a field that you might not even work in that said field that you went to school for. Because within this capitalist country, there's no guarantee of you getting a job, period. But also, we got to remember the mind state of many in this country to get it off the bootstrap types. And usually to get it off the bootstrap types are the ones that had shit handed to them. The ones that were able to afford higher education and come out into adulthood without debt. But yet you want to keep people down because you paid for school and you can't go backwards.
The thing I don't get, especially in the southern states, is those are the people who need the loans the most. So you're going against your own constituents at this point. Like these are some of the poorest states in the country. And why are you fretting over $10,000, $20,000? That's not going to change. That's not going to tilt the economy of your state one way or another if a loan is wiped out.
Well, and do you think about it like this too, TJ? I know, like, you guys are normally on, you guys discuss sports a lot. Let's be for real. How many times have you guys been discussing the University of Kentucky and it's been for their academics? Let's be for real. I never brought up the University of Kentucky and been like, yeah, them academic numbers, they're up there.
Yeah, Rhodes Scholars are coming out of Kentucky.
You're right.
I can guarantee you that the majority of the people who are against the loan reimbursement are not paying on loans right now. So that's number one.
Jamal, I swear, Jamal, that's fact, because most of them have paid already. And they look at it as, again, get it off the bootstraps mentality. I paid for mine, so fuck my kids. My kids got to pay too.
So yeah, that's my first point. The second point is you have to look at the politicians who are leading this charge. You got to see who funds them, and I bet you it's companies who own student loans. So it's all about
All the
lobbying.
money.
It's all about lobbying and what have you. This thing it goes beyond political ideology because I guarantee you, whoever's on either side of the aisle, kids who owe that money want that fucking reimbursement. And me being now, I went back to school again late at 36, paid off my first batch of loans to SUNY purchase, and now still owing money in the loans. I'm all for that joint. You know what I mean? Because I've been paying now student loans the majority of my adult life.
Right.
So you have to look at the people who are leading this charge. Either they're not in school, either they're not paying loans, and like that was called out when Biden was calling out all those people who got all those PPP loans and them loan debt forgiveness. They was up there rallying against student loan forgiveness, but they all got PPP loans and got debt forgiveness. So it's always politically motivated. You got to look at the politicians who are leading that charge and who pays those folks and who they're in debt to, and that's all it is. But it's gonna show itself at the ballot in the midterms, because if politics are smart, they'll put that at the front. Push that.
You said a key word there. A key word there. Smart.
So, but it's the other thing too. But I feel bad for those states whose leaders are rallying against it. It's the dumbest thing ever, because you get trapped as soon as you get out of college, and there's a certain part of the leadership of this country that wants a undereducated population. So, it plays into that thing too. So, also
some of these states are getting funded by us, like New York, California are funding these subsidizing these lower income states. Now, if we don't do that and keep the money to ourselves, where's that state going to be at?
Right. Well, it goes back to hypocrisy, like Florida's governor Ron DeSantis. Before he was governor, he was a congressman in Florida. When we got smashed up north by Hurricane Sandy a few years back, he voted against relief funds. He got his hat in hand out right now for Florida and begging for funds. And not that he shouldn't receive them, because it's beyond him. It's bigger than him. We want those people to be helped.
Right?
And they're getting them funds.
They're getting funds, but it's scumbaggery like what he's doing, which also applies to the type of stuff that's happening with these loans, where people are being showing hypocrisy at a level that you wonder how they get back in office. It's ridiculous. This dude
is ridiculous.
Voted against funds for the victims of Hurricane Sandy, which is horrible. And now he's like, he's out, he's in front of the line with his hat in his hand. So
talking about pettiness shouldn't be involved in the politics, right. Well, but he's out there doing the same thing.
That motherfucker is Petty Murphy. If he was pennies, but so that's my opinion on the school loans, mainly because I'm paying on it. And me personally, it's like, even if I didn't benefit from this debt relief, knowing what I went through, spending most of my adult life having to pay school loans, I don't want my younger sister to have to do that. I don't want people's other kids to have to do that. Yeah. We're supposed to want better for the generations behind us, and we've seen a lot of the country has seen the lost fact of that. They said, "Well, I went through it, you gotta go through it." No, but motherfucker, no. We're supposed to be constantly improving shit.
Right,
man. Right. Listen, some of our ancestors have possibly went through slavery. What should we do? I mean, and it's crazy to think that there's a sect of people out there that probably do believe that we should go back to that. There is. I mean, it's happening with the prison systems as it is. Like I was watching and reading up on things about what's the name, Brett Favre's state, Mississippi, and how they've been trying to finagle and funnel funds for years to open up more prisons.
Look,
for profit.
Mississippi is the dumbest place on earth, and that's not opinion. Those are just facts. Mississippi is fucking the dumbest place on earth. You see what's going on with their water system. Mississippi is probably the most impoverished state in the country. Maybe tied. Maybe West Virginia. Maybe challenging them for close second. Maybe West Virginia got
up there too.
Right. So But Mississippi, infant mortality, teen pregnancy, murder rate, anything. You look at the worst possible categories to define the overall health of a state financially and medically. Mississippi ranks either at the top in the worst categories and the bottom in the best categories. And it's been that way, and there's a reason for that. There's a consistent reason for that throughout the history.
They've turned down money for health aid. I don't know. It was like 2 or 3 years ago. The government was going to give them a huge loan, and the governor was like, "We don't want it. We don't want it." And I'm like, people are dying, man. What are you talking about? You don't want it. Like, this is to help your state become better, more profitable. And he's like, nah, we don't need that. We just need we need the poor dental care, so half of our citizens can walk around here with 3 teeth and, losing their hair and shit like that. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. Crazy.
3 teeth. Oh, but we got to raise our babies on bloody steaks.
It's like it is, Jackson, Mississippi has unpotable water, but the governor is chilling in the mansion with his own private water truck. He got water. So that just tells you what Mississippi's like. Or they'll take those federal funds and they'll divert them to something else, except for what they would get money for, like what Brett Favre has done. You know what I mean?
More and more is coming out about that. He should be going to jail, but that's another story.
Other problem with Mississippi is Mississippi has a really low voter rate, and that's the other problem.
People don't turn out.
They're extremely, extremely adept at suppressing the vote historically, and it's a low voter turnout. So you get these yo-yos that get into office and don't care about the state. It's unfortunate.
But crazy enough, they're not one of those states that were in this lawsuit. And again, like to want to keep people in debt, like that's just like a little tip of the iceberg when it comes to the depths of just these conversations.
Yes, sir.
If you understand what I'm saying, like it's just a little piece, like, and it just the rabbit hole. Y'all know I love to talk about the rabbit hole and how deep these things can go when it comes to population control, when it comes to just having haves and have-nots, and being able to control and manipulate a population of people into the ways that they want them. And it's like we hear consistently talk about education is key. Education is key. You should get a degree. I mean, shit. There was up to, like, I would say a decade or two ago where it was like you have to go to college or you won't be able to get these types of jobs. You won't be able to get these types of earnings of jobs. But again, a lot of these jobs ain't available, even when you do finish college and go get these specialized degrees. And so now you have to go back and work at McDonald's where, oh, wait, excuse me, they're mad that now minimum wage jobs are getting $15 an hour, which still isn't enough money to live, say, in a state like New York or in a city like New York City. You know what I'm saying? But now I have to go get a minimum wage job because I can't go get my get a job in like a biochemical engineering degree that I have because the jobs aren't available. But you need me to pay this $100,000+ loan back because a little $10,000 still doesn't even scratch the loan that you have.
Right.
But it will help. It helps you bring at least a little bit of the financial burden down to say, hey, now I could afford this car payment this month. Now I can keep a roof over my head.
That's my question of why. What is the cost of living out in Montana? Like, what is it cost for like a 1-bedroom apartment out there?
To be honest, it really, like, Montana is it depends on the area, really. Like where I'm at, like a small town area, you can get a 1-bedroom apartment anywhere between $300 to $600 a month.
I'm out. Right. That's it. I'm going. I'm leaving.
All right, see you. Have a good day, y'all. Peace.
I'm leaving the podcast right now. I'm leaving the podcast right now. I'm out.
What?
Yo,
Wyatt, I'm gonna be your neighbor in like 2 weeks, Wyatt.
like the place that I'm in now, granted, it's a family-owned place. It's two older trailer houses that my family kind of like put together. But I'm right on I'm like 20 feet from the river. I got a good chunk of land for my dogs and stuff, everything like that, and I pay $500 a month, man. That's with utilities included.
Holy shit! Oh my god!
Yeah.
No, I was gonna, man. That's like what
Jamal is crying. Jamal is crying.
just shit all over.
I spend that on lunch in a week.
Right.
What?
But then there's places like JG was talking about Bozeman earlier, like Bozeman and Billings, Missoula, the cities that are starting to get big. Like up in Billings right now, my sister's living up there, and she's got like a very tiny 2-bedroom house, and she's paying $1,600 a month plus utilities. You know what I mean? So it's just like
okay,
it really varies. Like 40, another one like 45 miles from me is another. Not major city, but a bigger city, got a Walmart, fast food, stuff like that. It's called Miles City. And like a year ago, Miles City was the same way, kind of like in my area, where you could rent a 1-bedroom for like $300 to $600 a month. They had a bit of an oil boom, and then they put up a giant windmill farm out there. Now a 1-bedroom apartment is $1,300 a month minimum. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's just it fluctuates so quick.
But compared to New York, that's still not bad.
Oh, yeah, no, for real. Compared to big cities, and that's where I was going to get into, like, how you were talking about, like, the way jobs pay out with a college degree and stuff. I go back to 2014 when I graduated high school. I had a handful of football scholarships, a lot of, like, partial scholarships, half scholarships, this, that, and the other, One college up in Billings, it was a private college, Rocky Mountain College, RMC, the RMC Battling Bears is literally what they're called. Offered me full ride scholarship. It's a private school. It's about $40,000 a year to go up there. It was full ride for at least my first year, and then they would see kind of after that, how things go. So I was pretty much counting on first year full ride, the next, because I was going to go for 4 years and I was going to get a degree to be a music teacher was my goal at the time. But so I was pretty much planning on, okay, I'm going to at least be about $100,000 in debt, between books, room and board, everything else that's going to go into this, right? Well, then I got to looking at it, and the average teacher in the state of Montana, and this hasn't even changed since 2014. This is still the same. The average teacher in the state of Montana makes $14 an hour. $14 an hour. Damn. Since right when I graduated high school, I jumped into a job as an assistant manager at a gas station, went to being a full restaurant manager, and now I'm back at a bigger gas station as the full head manager. And I have made more than $14 an hour in the last 9 years or 8 years since I've graduated high school. I've made higher than what I would have made with that college degree. So that's it's a sad state that, like he said, like our mayor was saying, you get that, you go to all this debt to get the piece of paper for a job that might even not exist, and then a job that might not even pay you enough to even be able to put back the money into it,
Right.
Which is sad. I was actually one of the girls I graduated high school with. She got a teaching degree, and she got out of high school and she took a job as like a front desk, like essentially secretary for like a law firm. And she was making $22 an hour doing that. And it took her like 3 or 4 years after she graduated college to be like, shit, maybe I should go get a teaching degree or teaching job and actually use this degree. But she's like, I don't want to take the pay cut when I'm making good money answering phones.
Exactly.
So what do you do?
That's a tough decision, man.
And that's that type shit that I'm talking about. And $14 an hour, but that's disgusting for a teacher. Yet we put so much stock again in education. We put so much stock in respecting teachers and making sure teachers are taken care of. And to hear that, I can only say it's kind of heartbreaking to understand that that's what these teachers are getting paid out there, to educate and bring our youth up. What I salute those teachers in that state for that purpose alone, for giving a shit enough to take that little money to essentially raise your children.
Right.
That's
All right.
I mean,
crazy.
the feds should come in and step in and be like, no teacher should make less than 50 grand a year. No, no matter what state you live in.
Exactly.
I mean,
It
just because
it
of
only
the
makes sense.
No, man. It just
where
it goes
it's the responsibility of kids. I mean, that's the biggest responsibility you can have. You know what I'm saying? Like you're raising children to be productive adults, and if you're scrounging check to check, trying to make ends meet as a teacher, how are you supposed to divert your time and attention to your job when you go there every day? It's hard. It's damn near impossible to do.
I
And
guarantee
on top of
you
that,
that I guarantee you that most of those teachers have second jobs because you
they
can't
got it.
function on $14 an hour.
And
No.
think about it like this too. Oh, because I'm a parent of three daughters, and we each and every year at the beginning of the school year we have to help out as parents and add supplies to the classroom. So at $14 an hour, imagine how much these teachers got to come out of pocket just to make sure that they can operate on a daily fucking basis.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know what the school system is like out there if they do fund a lot of this stuff. But that's fucking nuts. That's fucking crazy.
I know there's plans in place, and that's just the average. A lot of places are paying their teachers more than that. As the problem is like it's schools like the school I went to, being in a small town school that don't necessarily get the state funding, to be able to pay more than that. Right. And that's the same time why like these kids, like I feel bad for them now. When I was in high school down here, we had a full range of teachers. As the economy started to struggle a little bit more and people can't afford to live on, $14 an hour, these kids down here, like they've got, they're short staffed 7-8 teachers. They're doing a lot of their classes online just because they can't get teachers to come. But you can't blame them. Like nobody wants to really move to a town of 70 people. And then while you're living in that small ass town, you're making $14 an hour. I mean, it's just a shit. And I that's one thing where I'd like to see be like, shame on you, Montana, but that shit's going on all over,
Yeah.
Teachers, educators are the most underpaid people on the planet.
I mean, we laugh, but it's if you live in an apartment at $600 a month, $14 an hour, that's expensive.
Yeah.
That's expensive, man. Yeah. Like you gotta and utilities included is great, but you still gotta feed yourself. You know what I'm saying? You still gotta dress and clothe yourself appropriately to go to work. And that's always going to be a continuing cost.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna wrap this up because my phone is dying. But we're done. But now I have to, because you told me those rent prices, I might have to adjust my mindset on retirement. And when I get to work, we have up on a wall 14 states that you can retire that doesn't attack your pension. If Montana's up there, I might have to consider that. I might have to tell the wife. We might have to consider that.
Yo,
I'm sure my pension is going to be somewhere in the $5,000 to $6,000 a month when I retire. I could be out there balling like a motherfucker on some Kanye West and fucking Wyoming shit.
Okay, but having said that, why? Explain a typical day. Let's say December 1st. What's the weather like? What's the temperature like?
Cold as a motherfucker, man.
I changed my mind already.
Yo, bro. I hope you do what I asked, man.
A lot of wood burning going on out there, bro.
I changed my mind already. But that's it, y'all. Wyatt, we made it happen finally. You're welcome back at any time. You know what to do. You get first round and final shout outs.
That's what's up, yo.
I'm just gonna shout out to you guys and be thankful you guys have me on here, and I can't wait to come back on. And heck, we'll just need to arrange things to get the four of you guys to fly out here, and we can do a podcast live from Montana sometime.
I'm down with that.
The hotels got to be dirt cheap out there. I'm on the first flight. I'm my first class out there.
Are you looking for one of them no-tell motels?
That sounds like 50 cents a night, TJ.
As long as it's during the summer, I don't care.
Get your wings and room for the same price.
Hey,
Right? Nah, man. But again, thanks for finally sliding through in the course, man. You're definitely welcome to come back at any time, Jamal.
Yo, great show, y'all. Appreciate it chopping up with you on a Sunday. Wyatt, man, it's a pleasure to meet you. Great. Come back often and every time if you can. Big O, good to see you. TJ, everybody out there, peace.
Yo,
Shit, man.
Wyatt, go ahead.
No, this
Wyatt.
is fun, man. Shout out to my crew members, man. Shout out to Wyatt, man. I love hearing about different parts of the country. You know, I always say that people from New York treat New York like a planet. You know, so when I hear things about Montana, you know, and other places around the country, man, I'm all ears, man. But shout out to you for guest starring. Shout out to my boys, my brothers in arms. You know, yeah, man. Shout out to the rest of the listeners, man. Whoever wants to come up, you know, come on, man, come on. All right, that's about it.
Word up. Wyatt, appreciate you, man. Thanks for educating us on this great state of Montana. And I'll be looking for a wet bedroom out there soon. You know, I'll just buy bigger blankets and shit or some shit out there. I can afford them when I move out there. But no, really appreciate you coming on the show. Shout out to Dan putting this all together again. Good seeing you guys, JG, Big O. Glad we all could get up for a Sunday. This was dope. Can't wait to do it again. Yeah. Thank you again, man.
Word. And yeah, again, thank you for the education, Wyatt. You the younger man taught us old heads a little something for real. And it was I loved it. I love it because I like O said, and learning, and then also too learning Big O ain't bigger than me.
Little low.
I was shocked when I heard that, man. I'm sitting over here like I'm like 6'3" and 340, and here the Big O is 5'9". I was like, what the?
Shit, you got me beat because I'm 6 foot, but I'm around 335 ish or so. I was at 6 feet. I was at 6'3". I used to play football at 380, 385, 370, and be able to move. At 42, I don't move the same as when I was fatter. Hit that QR code, people. Y'all know what to do with that. The podcast will be up later today. Again, apologies for any audio chop ups. It's just what happens when you're broadcasting over the internet. Shit can happen. But the shit that happened today was a dope show. Thank you again. Peace. We'll see y'all next week.
Sure.
Dope.